I know there's also a level where you from between 2016 and now, I'm sure your levels, your antennas for hearing God has also improved and increased as well.
Yeah.
So please guide a fellow brother and sister down there.
Yes. I think I just want to say this. For sure, like you said, patience is very central to obedience.
Yeah.
You know, there are several things that are central to obedience. Like I said, faith is one of them. You know, faith is central to obedience.
Yeah.
I did say that, of course, hearing the voice of God is
Very
and of
central.
course, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, long suffering, you know, the fruit of the Spirit also.
Yeah.
Patience, that is part of it.
Yes.
Because if you're not patient, God will speak something, you just move without hearing the next instruction. I think when Abraham was told by the Lord to go sacrifice his son, he was told to go sacrifice his son. But if he had not paid attention to what God was going to say in Mount Moriah, because God said, go to one of the mountains that I'm going to show. You know, the mountain was not even shown to him. He had to actually obey by moving. Okay, that obedience first. Obey first.
Yeah.
You know, obey by moving. That moving, he was not told that that's a mountain. So one of the mountains, it's a region itself.
And it
There's
has
that
several.
region, I'll just show you. So he had to move. You know, because again, one of the things that I also realize why we are not also getting anything when it comes to obeying God is because you're waiting until God shakes us, speaks to us. I don't know what God wants, the blueprint, everything.
Yeah.
I want to know the next 20 years what's going to happen. Sometimes just God speaks about the end without telling you the process, what is going to happen. You know, so God speaks to Abraham, go to one of the, you know, the region of Moriah, one of the mountains. So when he got there, he knew it, but there was another instruction in that mountain. You know, if he was not keen to hear again, what God is going to say.
Yeah.
So, you know, something could have happened. Could have killed his son, and that tells me, therefore, obedience is not just obeying rules. Obedience requires relationship. That's something we must know.
Okay.
For us to obey, again, relationship is very central to obedience.
Yes.
You have to relate with God. You can't just be a person who just walks just by hearing instructions, then walks. You have to relate with Him to just know, you know, what He saying continually. If I relate with someone today, you know, I know what they are saying,
Yes.
even what I mean.
Yes.
You know, for example, my family. You know, I was with my wife yesterday. I was with my wife today.
Yes.
Because of that, you know, relationship I have with my wife, I can tell what my wife is saying every time.
Exactly.
Even what I mean.
Yeah.
You know.
Even the sign language.
Even the sign language.
She doesn't have to speak.
There's that. Yeah. So relationship is tied to obedience. That's something you need to understand. You don't relate. You don't just obey for the sake of obeying. You must relate with God. And if Abraham was not a friend of God, to relate with God, to understand, to hear Him continually, he would have killed his son.
That's so true.
You know. And I think that's what happens with many of us. We don't want to pay attention to that. You know, to make sure that we pay attention to that relating with God and until we can hear Him continually over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I'll tell tell the people that I want, you know, that want to, you know, obey. Please learn. Please learn to hear the voice of God. I think I've talked that a lot. Relate with God. Learn to hear Him.
Yeah,
is very, very important.